Alright, I'm on live. Hello, I'm going to be making a video on the midterm elections in California. Now, when I mean midterms in California, I'm just going to cover the state of California. No other state indeed. If you're from Texas, Wyoming, New York, or whatever, sorry, I'm not going to be talking about your state. I'm talking about because I'm from California. That is my home state. Also, this video is on live stream. I'm getting the hangout room to broadcast this, so I'm not going to be editing. I'm not going to be editing this video. So you're going to hear me. What I'm saying is that you might hear any stutters, any incoherence, ramblings, and all that imperfect, impure way, you know. Plus, it's unscripted, which is what I'm doing. Now, with the midterm elections, the problem with the midterm that not been what I'm saying is the problem with okay, people, the problem with the midterm election is not very many people participate in terms. And I think that's a problem because the last midterm was back in 2004, and that was terrible, in my opinion, because we did not get up to 40% of people voting. In fact, we would have been lucky if we got 20%, because majority of people decided to stay home. Now, during that time, there was a referendum on Scotland becoming an independent country. And I guess most of the people at the time decided to stay in Great Britain. While it had 80% turnout. That's different from ours because our turnout was low. That's what I was talking about. It was our turnout, you know. We would have been lucky at the time to get 29% turnout rate. Now, I want this midterm election to have a higher turnout than the last time, because the last time was terrible. Okay, if all the cynical people decided to get out and vote, we would have independent candidates winning each elected positions, such as the United States Senate, the United States House of Representatives, as well as state positions such as governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, state senate, as well as state assembly. And I think that's very important, people. So we need to get a bigger turnout. I don't care how cynical you are. You think you vote does not count? Well, your vote does count. The only way you can make this country's political system better or to improve it is for you to get out and vote. Otherwise, it's not going to change anything. Same old crooked cronies and corrupt individuals will remain in office for a long time. And and these type of people that remained in office love it when people don't go out and vote, because it promised them that they're going to be in office for life. Like John McCain from Arizona, he's going to be senator for life, because I doubt in 2020 he's going to be alive. As soon as he dies, I'm going to break out the shop and start celebrating, because I never liked that guy. A fucking war hawk he is. Now around here in California, we have Dianne Feinstein. He was trying to run, he wants to be senator for life. Now, however, somebody else, Kevin DeLoyne, is a threat to her. So we all know that. We all know that right now, but I'll get to that later. And basically, they want a small turnout so they can stay in power. A bigger turnout for elections will be a good thing, so we can get more third-party candidates in office. That includes those who are independent. I consider myself an independent candidate. Now, there's one thing that baffles me, is that the United States Congress has a low approval. Why is it that the United States Congress has a low approval and people keep electing the same asshole over and over again? That's one of the things I want to know. People hate our Congress. Well, what I'm saying is that most of the people in this country, including you who is watching this, obviously hate the United States Congress, the 115th Congress, because most of them are out of touch. They don't know what the American people want. And it's just pretty fucking broken if you think about it. And yet, the same people that hate these folks are re-electing these fucking assholes, you know? What's going on here? Why the fuck are you people keep re-electing them? If you think Congress is bad with its situation, which I do, because Congress is fucking broken, you should not be you should not be re-electing these same assholes. You should be electing a different person. That's what you need to do, okay? Now, as for the United States Senate elections, that's happening in California. Now, a senator gets about a 4-year term, you know, and Dianne Feinstein is basically campaigning again because she wants to be senator for life. Now, the person that is a threat to her goal for senator for life is Kevin DeLoyne. Now, if you think about this, Dianne Feinstein is an old crow. She is in her 80s, I think. She's about, I guess, she's I guess 81. Let me see. "84 years old. That is old. And she's been in office since 1992. Now, you got Kevin DeLoyne. So what is Kevin DeLoyne? He's a much younger person. He's about 51 years old, which is still old, but he's much younger than Dianne Feinstein. Technically, he's a middle-aged man. If you think about it. But I don't support them. I do not support Dianne Feinstein or Kevin DeLoyne because both of them are against the Constitution. Kevin DeLoyne supports this sanctuary state law that Jerry Brown has implemented, and he's also pro-disarmament. He wants to take people's right to disarm, right to bear arms away from folks. And of course, yeah, I just want common sense gun reform. Well, bullshit. The only thing I can say to Kevin DeLoyne, you don't know any shit about guns or anything like that. You don't know shit about that shit, you know? You can't even tell the difference between, you don't know the difference between a clip and a magazine. And you don't know the difference between a AR-15 and an M16. An M16 is an assault rifle. It's fully automatic. AR-15 is a sporting rifle. It's semi-automatic. And of course, the current school shooting we had, I did the media, I don't know, some Greek kid. He went into his school armed with a shotgun and a revolver, a handgun revolver, a pistol revolver, and managed to kill some of the students he did not like. How do you explain that? Because he didn't use a AR-15. And of course, y'all think that the AR-15 is like the boogeyman. I remember when I was a kid that people used to talk about submachine guns like Tech-9s and some sort of bullet that's designed to be a cop killer. Hell, they even talk about the only assault rifle they would talk about was the AK-47, which people would talk about being the main assault rifles that crazy people carry. Now it's the AR-15, and it's not even an assault rifle. It's basically the devil's weapon, if you think about it. It's the boogeyman. Now, that's all I gotta say. And you also got other Democrats. I guess Adrienne Nichols Edwards is somewhat the only viable candidate that's willing to do much, but that's the best it's going to get with the Democrats. All the other Democrats like Pat Harris, David Hildebrand, they're all the same generic Democrats where they want to disarm people. They're pro-disarmament. That's what they are. They're for disarming people. And if I can tell them something, I would tell them, you can take your gun control laws and stick it up your ass while doing the chicken dance. That's what I would say to them. Now, as for the Republicans, I would go for James Bradley, since he's the only one who's viable with the Republicans. Then you got Derek Michael Reed for the Libertarians. And I don't know about the independent candidate, but of course, Adrienne Nichols Edwards is pretty young. Now, there's Tim Gildersleeve. I guess he's a Christian. I guess you can vote for him. The independent section's not looking good with the Senate. But anyways, with the governor's election, the gubernatorial election that's going on, now with the gubernatorial election, you got Gavin Newsom and Antonio Villaraigosa. Both are for gun control. The same old shit as Jerry Brown is. And now, Gavin Newsom is pretty worse. You know, he's like pro-disarmament. Affordable housing, Team Dreamers and immigrants. California leading the way. Hell no. Fuck. Now, he's not really talking about gun control. Mr. Villaraigosa, he was the mayor of LA, you know, the most the leftist part of Southern California. But you never know, because even he is for gun control, And Gavin Newsom's more severe on that. Like Mr. Newsom, the ex-mayor who's now the lieutenant governor of California, he wants people in the state to be disarmed, let alone let people to defend themselves, because all of that shit. Now, the funny thing about Antonio Villaraigosa is that unlike any other politicians like Kevin DeLoyne, Maxine, he started his life as a booze baron or something, mainly selling wine towards people. He has his own winery. Someone like Kevin DeLoyne doesn't. He spent most of his life as a politician. Basically, he's a career politician. Now, as for the other people that are running for governor, we got John Cox. He's a Republican. He seems to be the only viable candidate. As for the Libertarians, we got Zoltan Istvan, who's a fucking transhumanist. So I don't see him as viable because transhumanism is bullshit. Then you got Nicholas Wildstar, which I might vote for him in the coming elections. As for the independent candidate, there's not very many of them that are viable. So yeah, there's not very many viable candidates that are running as independents. I can't find. They don't have any campaign websites or any campaign quotas. So I don't know their platforms. If I do know their platforms, I'll see if they're viable or not. Now back with the Senate election, the U.S. Senate election that's happening in California. If January 5th comes around and it ends with Dianne Feinstein versus Kevin DeLoyne, I would abstain from voting, mainly for U.S. Senator, because I don't like these guys. And I would encourage other people to do the same thing. If I could, I would write down Mickey Mouse or Donald Trump for sure, if I could. Now, with the lieutenant governor, there are people that are running for lieutenant governor. First of all, you got the generic Democrats who just want people to be disarmed. I don't know if there's any one that's viable. Dave is the only viable Republican. You got Tim Ferriero. The independents runner, the independent candidates, I don't see. None of them are viable. It's just two people running. Danny Thomas, who I can't find any of his campaign platform, anything like that. And there's some lady, Gail Laughlin, who's running for lieutenant governor as an independent. And she's also someone who wants to take people's guns away. People's people's right to bear arms away because my safety and my shootings. Yeah, did you heard that saying, that quote from Benjamin Franklin where he says that anyone who gives up their liberty for security deserves nothing. Did you hear that? So yeah, I'm not voting for Gail because she's totally unviable. That's not in the Constitution. Now, as for the lieutenant governor, if you think about the lieutenant governor of California, it's mostly a useless position. They're just there to look good. And most of the time when doing Gavin Newsom's tenure as lieutenant governor, he just sat around and done nothing. Basically, all he has to do is wake up and look if the governor has died or something. If Jerry Brown has fucking stroked out or become so incapacitated that he can no longer be governor, that all that shit, governor that he has to be, I guess, ousted, then yeah, he'll come around. Otherwise, it's just go back to sleep and do nothing. Now we got the Attorney General stuff, the election, and Secretary of State. Now with the U.S. House election, I don't know if my district, which is District fucking 50 or something, I can't remember what district I'm part of. District 51, yeah. I don't know if there's going to be another election with that because I think the House members have a 4-year long term, you know. But as for District 43, there's a couple of people that are running against Maxine Waters. Frank DiMartini, Edwin Duterte. Is he related to that Duterte dude from Philippines? Omar Navarro, Miguel Angel Zuniga, something. Now, I don't know. I only know about Omar Navarro, and he wants to run against Maxine Waters. Now, Maxine Waters wants to become Congresswoman for life because that's her goal in life. And she's pretty much in her 80s right now. She's speeding up to her 80s. And I don't know how long she's able to be viable to remain in Congress. So what I'm saying is, I don't know if she's going to be viable, let alone coherent or functional to remain in Congress because she's 79 right now and she's going to be 80 by the end of this year. She's rapidly approaching her 80s. And I guarantee if she wins again, which most likely she will pretty much get to a point where her mind starts to decay and she starts acting more crazier. than she usually does. She probably gets to the point where she becomes senile and demented. She starts developing dementia or early dementia and starts forgetting who she is or what district she represents. She'll be like, I represent district number 1 because I'm from this, because I'm number 1 and I care about them black people. You know, my bad impression of Maxine Waters. But yeah, she won't remember, and their staff be like, no ma'am, you represent District 43. You know that district. Oh, that district. District 43, I say. Jesus, I sound more Irish than Maxine Waters. Next thing you know, she probably thinks turds on the grass are chocolate. She probably tries to eat the turds on the grass because she thinks it's chocolate, and and her staff is wondering what the fuck you're doing, Mrs. Waters. What are you trying to eat? Well, I found this is just fun. I found a grassy field with chocolate laying. I'm sorry, people. I'm just trying to be serious, and it's hard not to be serious. Like, she talks to her staff because, like, you're asking her, why the fuck are you doing, Mrs. Waters? Why are you eating those? Well, I found a grassy field with chocolate laying everywhere. Their staff's like, that's not the chocolate, Mrs. Waters. That's dog shit. She thinks that dog shit is chocolate. Because her mind's like going, she's becoming more demented. So she thinks like dog shit laying around the grass is chocolate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the laughter. It's just something like that hit me in the funny bones. Yeah. Now, as for the local ballots measure, I live in Chula Vista, and where's the county? San Diego. And the only ballot measure we have in Chula Vista right now is the authorization to impose a half-cent. Is the authorization to impose a half-cent sales tax on retail goods and shit. I'm gonna be voting against that because we already have a high sales tax. How fucking high do we need it to be? It's at a point where everything is expensive here. Gas is expensive because we got a gas tax because Jerry Brown wants us to pay more when we use our vehicles to, when we purchase gas to use our vehicles, and all that shit. So I'm not having it with those ballot proposition on raising taxes. We don't need to pay more taxes. Now, as for the state ballot, we got Proposition 68 issues $4 million in bonds for parks, environmental protection, and water infrastructure. Much as that sounds great, I will vote against that because the state of California does not have the money to issue these bonds and all that shit. And plus, everybody's paying high up the ass with taxes. Proposition 69, budget, which is the subject, requires certain tax and fee revenue related to transportation be used for transportation purposes. That, I don't know. Proposition 70 requires a one-time two-thirds vote to use revenue from the cap and trade program. Yeah. Proposition 71. Now this one's on democracy. Changes the date for when voter approved ballot measures take effect. I will look into that. Proposition 72. Exclude rainwater capture system from property tax. Rainwater capture system from property tax. That I'm going to vote for because I don't think people need to pay more just to capture rainwater to drink. In fact, we shouldn't be jailing people for capturing rainwater. Now with the other proposition, I'm most likely going to vote no on these because they're just useless, this stuff. Now, as far as I can tell you, it is very important to go out and vote. Like I said in the beginning of this video, it is very important to vote whoever wins the election. All right. I'm talking to you, not just people in California, but elsewhere in America, is that if we get a high voter turnout this midterms, I think we could see some good improvements in our political system. Otherwise, we're just going to get stuck with the same shit over and over again. You know, the same congressmen and women, the same politicians that go around, act like they care about us. In reality, they're out of touch with mainstream America. They spend more time doing cocaine, hanging out with business folks, and as well as corporatists, buying them out. That's what goes on. Most of these guys live in gated communities, ride limousines, and all that shit. Especially around here in California. You're not going to see Kevin DeLoyne at the airport. You're not going to see Gavin Newsom shopping at a grocery store in San Francisco, his hometown. Now, you're not going to see Maxine Waters at a home or using public transit along with the other peasants. That's one thing about Maxine Waters is this. Every time people call her out, she'll use the race card on them just to discredit them. And that's a disgrace, people. You don't go around doing that shit. Of course, she'll use the race issue as well as race card to blame her failure in Congress. That's one thing you should know about Mrs. Waters. Whole the same you represent, is supposed to represent District 43. In reality, it's like these politicians, Bert, Jesse Jackson, and Al Sharpton, Louis Farrakhan, and I guess Phil Avise on the internet, act like they gave a fuck about the black community. And they do this by race baiting, using their old racial issue, which is a wedge issue. You know, it's not like they want black people to succeed. Hell no. They want them to be, you know, underprivileged, living in poverty, dirt poor, because they know that they can control them easily, as well as being uneducated. I forgot to mention, because it's not just black people, but any other minority, as well as the majority, which is the Caucasian race. Any politician that acts like they gave a fuck about them don't really give a fuck about them. They just want them to vote for them constantly. And they just want them to be dirt poor so they can control them. And of course, people like Phil Avise, Jesse Jackson, and Al Sharpton can go and tell his fellow community, whoever they like, via Maxine Waters, you know. But as for the people, I'm going to say this again. I don't know how many times I have to stress this. The reason why we have people like Maxine Waters in office is because you keep voting for these people and nothing gets done. If you want the approval rating of Congress to go up, if you want Congress to be on your good side, you need to vote out the incumbent, vote in the challenger, you know. That's the only way that this country can, and our political system can improve. And as for the cynical people, abstaining from voting is not going to do anything to end corruption within this country. If you go out there and vote, we can get like third-party members, not just in the state Congress, the state Senate, and the state legislature of California. We can do this as well in other states, as well as the U.S. Congress. We can. So that's all I got to say about this coming midterm election. I'm Wicked Wonka. I'm signing out. Oh yes, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel or my BitChute channel. Follow me on Gab and Minds. I would tell people to follow me on Twitter, but fuck Twitter. It can go to hell. Just follow me on Gab and Minds. They're better than Twitter, and that's all I gotta say. So I'm signing out.